Laziness. It's one of the most common yet least understood challenges we face as human beings. We throw the word around like it defines us. I'm just lazy. I can't help it. I'll do it later. We've normalized it, excused it, even hidden behind it. But what if I told you that laziness is not a flaw in your character? What if I told you that it's not who you are, but rather what happens when you've lost connection with something much deeper? Your purpose, your direction, your reason. See, we don't wake up lazy, we wake up empty, we wake up disconnected, and when we don't have something meaningful to chase, something to believe in, something that makes the pain and effort worth it, we slow down. We stall, we retreat, not because we're weak, not because we're broken, but because we're human, and humans were not built to move without meaning. We were designed to run towards something. We need a cause. We need a vision, we need a why. That's where most people get it wrong. They try to kill laziness with discipline, with hacks, with shame, with calendars and reminders and caffeine, but that's like putting a fresh coat of paint on a crumbling wall. The problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. The problem is that you're chasing things that don't set your soul on fire. Laziness isn't the enemy, it's the signal. It's your mind telling you that what you're doing doesn't matter enough. And if it doesn't matter enough, why would you give it your best? Why would you push? Why would you fight? So before we talk about habits, before we talk about productivity, before we talk about winning the day or beating the snooze button, we have to ask the one question that changes everything. Why? Why do you wake up? Why do you show up? Why do you keep going when everything inside you wants to quit? Until you can answer that question, honestly, clearly, emotionally, you will keep fighting the same battles over and over again. You'll stay stuck in the cycle of start and stop, push and crash, effort and guilt. But once you find your why, once you connect your actions to something that matters, everything changes. Discipline becomes devotion. Struggle becomes sacrifice, and what once felt like effort starts to feel like purpose. I'm not here to tell you to hustle harder. I'm not here to sell you some motivational slogan. I'm here to invite you to go deeper, to dig into the part of you that wants more. That was made for more, that is tired of watching your potential die in the waiting room of hesitation. You are not lazy, you are not broken, you are not weak. You are powerful beyond measure, and when you align your life with something that ignites your spirit, laziness dies on its own. Not because you killed it with effort, but because it starved without a reason to exist. So let's stop blaming ourselves. Let's stop avoiding mirrors. Let's stop making laziness a part of our identity. And instead, let's turn inward and ask, what's worth fighting for? What's worth waking up for? What's worth changing for? Because when your why is strong enough, you won't need someone to wake you up. You won't need another motivational quote. You'll move, you'll act, you'll become. Not because you have to, but because you want to. Because you've remembered who you are. And more importantly, who you're meant to be. You ever sit there, staring at a task, knowing exactly what needs to be done, and still nothing happens? You sit, you scroll, you get up for water, you check the clock. You tell yourself, I'll start in 5 minutes, and then somehow an hour vanishes, the guilt kicks in, the shame creeps up, and then the worst part begins. You start questioning yourself, why am I like this? What's wrong with me? But again, this is where we miss the truth. Because the problem isn't that you're unwilling, it's that you're unaligned. You haven't found the emotional connection to the thing you're supposed to do. You haven't made it matter. We don't chase goals. We chase meaning, and when there's no meaning, no spark, no emotion tied to what we're doing, even the smallest task can feel like dragging a mountain. It's not about laziness, it's about emotional disconnection. And most of us were never taught how to build that connection. We were told to suck it up, to grind, to push, to perform, but no one ever asked us what fuels us, what drives us, what fills us. So we live our lives on autopilot, operating in survival mode, trying to manufacture motivation from thin air, wondering why we burn out every few months, but purpose isn't found on the surface, it lives deep inside. It's born from your pain, your passions, your past, and your dreams. And when you ignore that, you pay the price in fatigue, in hesitation, in frustration. Laziness is the cost of a life without direction. You don't need more pressure. You need more clarity. When you know why something matters, you no longer need to force it. You flow into it. You bring energy instead of dragging your feet. you become magnetic. Intentional, focused, because your actions are finally connected to something bigger than comfort. Think about the people you admire most, not just celebrities or leaders, but people who show up every day with passion. People who move with fire in their eyes. They're not superhuman. They're not built different. They've just made a decision. A decision to align their lives with something that matters deeply. And that alignment kills laziness. Not overnight, not perfectly, but consistently. Because when you've tasted the power of purpose, everything else feels empty in comparison. You want to stop being lazy, then stop chasing meaningless goals. Stop doing things just because you think you're supposed to. Stop building your life around shoulds and start asking yourself what your soul actually longs for. Start asking, what legacy do I want to leave? What kind of person do I want to be when no one's watching? What would I fight for, even if it got hard? That's where the shift begins, not with a planner, not with a productivity app, but with a decision to live on purpose. And here's the truth most people don't want to face. Killing your laziness means killing your comfort. It means stepping out of the easy, predictable cycle of excuses and stepping into discomfort, challenge, and growth. It means confronting your fear of failure, your fear of success, your fear of change. It means telling yourself, I'm done being a bystander in my own life. And once you do that, once you take ownership, you'll realize that laziness was never the problem. It was just the shadow cast by a life lived without fire. So now the choice is yours. You can keep blaming laziness. You can keep treating your inaction like a flaw, a defect, a permanent part of who you are. Or you can finally stop running from yourself. You can stop numbing your dreams with distractions and start waking up to your potential. You can silence the noise, sit with the hard questions, and decide that your life matters too much to waste. Kill your laziness not with pressure, but with purpose, not with shame, but with vision. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to believe deeper. You need to wake up every morning knowing exactly what you're fighting for and who you're becoming in the process, because once you know your why, truly know it, you won't need motivation. You'll move with meaning. You'll walk with fire, you'll act with intention, and laziness, it won't survive in the presence of someone who has found their reason to rise. So go find yours today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Today, because your life is too short and your purpose is too important to live asleep, wake up, lock in, show up, kill your laziness, so your greatness can live.